Well, this is Meadowlands Fishery and the Lansdowne Lake, the bigger lake of the two here. It's a special venue. There's loads of big angry carp in here, and you can catch them really big weights. And one method that really does work well here and other venues like Barston Lakes, Larford, there's loads of big open lakes like this where this tactic works. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and to be honest, I would rather do other methods, but it is a deadly method. It catches lots and lots of fish, and it's slapping, that's it. You fish a top match on this venue with all the big guys, all the regulars, they will go straight out, 14 metres, maybe 16 metres, slapping an 8mm pellet. So many of them, that's how they all start, and that's what I'm going to do. It's on its day, it's the simplest but most devastating tactic. So I've got some Fishery 8s. They're a nice Coppins variety. You can see that's an odd little red marker pellet in there. Nice, relatively big, dense pellet, and that's what they see here. That's what they want. It makes a lot of noise. These Coppins, they don't disintegrate. They don't fall apart too much or anything. And then the rig is really simple. You want a thick bristle float. It's a chop on this venue regularly, so I like a thick bristle. This is a 2.5 or 3mm bristle. If it's flatter, some people prefer a dibber. So these are the two floats I'd choose. I've got a power margin, which I've just trimmed down at the tip and stem, so it's a little bit stubbier. Really good for choppy water like this. Or I'd use a 0.3 gram matrix dibber with a balsa top. But it's definitely a bit of a chop on it today. So 0.23 mainline, you could go 0.20, but 0.23, nice and strong. You want something really durable. And the whole length of the rig is it's just over 3 foot. And to begin with, I'm set 18 inches deep. You could go about 12 inches to 2 foot deep, but generally, if in doubt, 15 to 18 inches deep is a good starting point. Now, obviously, this pellet is a very heavy pellet, so all I've got down the line is, all I've got under the float is 1 number 9. That's all I need to shot. There's nothing down the line at all. It completely free falls. The only thing that's going to make a noise is the float and the hook bait plopping. And that's it. Oh, and the hook length is 0.20, and I've got a 16 MXC4, nice strong hook, not a massive hook, but a nice strong hook. And elastic wise, I found the best for here is 14 to 16 slick. It will stretch a long way. You could fish heavier, but I just find that perfect. It just seems to be the perfect balance, perfect marriage and everything. So that's the gear. I have got a little bit flopping out, a little bit of extra elastic, because it's a big open lake. There's no point chopping that, because if the fish wants to pull, they will pull that extra bit of elastic, and even that extra, that extra 2 foot of elastic I can stretch out will buy you a few fish when they're going off on a big massive run. You could catch a 20-pound carp here quite easily, and you'll think it's foul hook, and it won't be. He'll be in the mouth. They'll just go and go. So I'm not going to feed a thing to begin with. I'm just wait for that little biplane to go by. And that's it. So that's it. We're just going to go out and slap. Hopefully everything's in shot. I say there's a bit of a ripple on it today. Normally a hot and still day is best. Just try and get it rocking and rolling. Hopefully you'll be able to see this on the camera. Yeah. So I've got a good 18 inches above as well, so we can go deeper if we need to. Just go out. Usually slap 3 or 4 times and leave it, and then give yourself 20 seconds. Another plane, and then another 3 or 4 slaps. And there's different ways of slapping. Quite a violent slap tends to be quite good on these big open lakes. Sometimes you just got to plop it in. So sometimes I'll just, rather than overhead, I'll just lift and drop it. So, but generally early doors, I want to be quite noisy. So I tend to be quite a nice hard overhead helicopter windmill slap, whatever you want to call it. No feed at the start, nothing. I'll probably go 5-10 minutes without feeding, and then we'll see if they want feed. But the calmer and flatter and sunnier the day, the better. But just because I just think there's more fish naturally up in the water when it's like that. When it's a bit of a ripple like this, it's not so good, but I'd still expect to catch 1 or 2 if they're in the area. Yeah, about 18 inches is a good depth on this lake. If you're on a really shallow venue like Barston or somewhere, you might find going a little bit shallower can be better. You get to know how high the fish tend to swim. Oh, the wind's really got up all of a sudden. It's not ideal. But yeah, I'm starting at 14 metres. I've got no problem going out to 16 or doing it at 13 if the conditions and everything looks right for it. But usually if your neighbours are all out slapping and they've gone out to 16, you've got to go out the same distance, I tend to find. If you're slapping at 13 and they're fishing 14 or 16 metres either side, you're at a disadvantage, unfortunately. But if you've got a bit of room and you just want to catch some great big fish, just go out and slap an 8mm pellet. On the smaller venues, an 6mm can be quite good. Loads of planes today. There you are. Oh, that was a bite. Might have been a roach. Felt my rig straightened and my pole tip went down a little bit. Not sure if you got that on camera. So it's very white water here. You could use a black bristle float, but it's because it's a nice thick bristle. I can see it. And I tend to find when it's choppy like this, a bristle is much better than a dibber. But you could use quite a real thick Mr. Magoo's type of dibber and that would be as good, certainly. But I just like a nice thick 2.5, 3mm stubby bristle. That seems to be quite good on these choppy days. Right, I've got itchy feet already. I'm gonna, oh that was good, wasn't it? I'm gonna ping in just 2 or 3 8mm. I say the windier it is, the more I'm likely to feed. On really hot still days, I probably wouldn't feed so much and just rely on the noise of the rig and the hook bait. I'm not feeding though, I'm not spraying in bait. I say I quite like plopping in at just 2 or 3 8mm. That can be really good because that's what they're used to seeing at this place. They see no end of 8mm pellets. But some days feeding the fishery 6s can be better, certainly. But I quite like, given a choice, I'd like to just plop in some 8mm. And it brings in the right fish, which is the big carp you want. But you will catch roach, you will catch big bream and all sorts on this. But be active, keep slapping. Oh, I've got no problem shallowing up a little bit if you get an odd swirl, but don't hit anything. Sometimes they can be really high. Sometimes you just got to find that golden depth. I might need to go sort of 2 foot, maybe even 2.5 foot. The deeper the lake, the deeper I will generally venture. And don't be scared to just wait a little bit like I am. Let them find it. Sometimes it will just pull under, but no, nothing. So let's slap 4 times and leave it. You slap loads of times. Slap as many times as you think. You're just trying to drag a fish in. And then the only thing it will see is your hook bait. Like I say, they could be swimming from the other direction, and I like me hook bait to lead the float. I like them to find me hook bait before me float. So if they're coming from the left, I'll slap to the left. It's such a weird method. It's a belief method. You don't think it's going to work, and all of a sudden, wallop, your pole tip's been dragged down with a great big carp on the end. Obviously, the more fish in the area, the easier it is. The better the peg, the easier it is. And when you're on a flyer with plenty of fish about, it's hard to beat this method. I'm going to feed 2 or 3 times. A little bit of noise. And then I'm going to stop feeding. Just a quick burst of feed. Plop it in. So I've seen an odd skimmer jumping about, but I've not seen any carp. Oh, there's a bite. Oh, that was a definite bite. So there's a load of quality silvers in here, and they'll peck at everything as well. I say some days you need to feed. So the only difference today, what you could do, you might find feeding 6mm is better than 8mm. but I do like to feed those 8s if I can. I say the windier it is, the more I expect feeding to be important. If it's lovely and flat and calm, they can just home into the noise of the float and the upbait. You can even do a bit of tapping, a bit like that. Looks and sounds silly, but you'll be surprised what comes in to investigate that. Or sometimes a bit more violent, like a duck having a clean. I don't really want this wind to get up any more than this. I think we'll probably only catch 1, maybe 2, and I can get on with me filming. Oh, seagull just missed me pole tip. Yeah, I heard you. Did you not see me? Say it might not be a slapping day. It's normally worth 1 or 2. I wouldn't be. You generally know after 10 to 20 minutes. But generally, if you haven't caught doing this, you probably haven't caught doing a lot else either. So you've not lost anything by doing a bit of slapping. You can keep an eye on everyone else. There's normally half a dozen of you at least doing it on a venue like this, and you can soon tell just by looking at them if it's a slapping day or not. Not convinced it is today, looking at the lack of response. I think if we were on peg 1 up the end, I think the Angling Times are there doing some stuff today. Oh, there we are, we got one. We mown one on. I say if we was on peg 1 today, you could probably sit on that peg and slap and slap and slap. And you wouldn't have to do anything else. There, we got one. But yeah, it's probably took 10 minutes to get that, but it'll be a big fish, you know. Is there another method you'd have caught within 10 minutes of starting? You could have maybe started short, or started on a feeder or a bomb, but I think this is a lovely way of catching. You're not destroying your peg, you're not hardly feeding anything. It's almost like a free fish. But they're big old fish. This one's kited to the left. There's a lot of big long commons in here, and they love going on runs. But this 14 to 16 I think's perfect for here. Let's roll my sleeve up. I'll turn that camera off whilst we're. Hopefully we got the bite. It's hard to focus in white water at 14.5 metres. He's not doing a lot, not yet. He hasn't seen my ugly mug yet, has he? Keep the pole tip nice and low. If you miss him first time here, you're in trouble. But yeah, big old 8mm pellet, that's all you need. Nice Fishery 8mm. What more do you need? Nothing. Sometimes feeding, sometimes not. But that just came out of the blue, that bite, didn't it? There's been no swells, no vortexes, nothing's splashed at the float. You're looking at a 6 to 10 pound fish, and 1 or 2 of them in the first 10-15 minutes of a match sets you off nicely. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but everyone can do it as long as you can hold a long pole. Then it's not like, you know, a secret method or anything. Everybody knows about this method in this sort of area. Meadowlands, Barston, Larford. I've even seen them doing it at Boddington Reservoir. Which has got to be scary hooking them there, but yeah, maybe we should go there and do it. Oh, see, he's gone now for a run. But just take your time. It took us 5-10 minutes to hook him. I'm in no rush to get him in. Just use a nice strong rig, one that's not going to let you down. On its day, you could catch 10-20 carp like this, and they're going to punish your rig. But even if you just hook one, you don't want the rig to let you down. We'll get him this time. I'm going to guess it's a big common. There's even some nice big grass carp in here. Yeah, it's one of those angry common carp. And big fat mirrors you catch down the edge don't pull like this, but these commons are just berserk. He's right out there now. Obviously this time of year they're supercharged anyway. They've probably shed their spawn and they've had another feed. Come on. Oh, he's a big one. Absolute stunning fish. We'll have a look at him. Yeah. It's probably 8 or 9 pound that. Absolutely immaculate fish. See my pellet in the landing net. Yeah, so there we are, we've caught one slapping. Wasn't the easiest of fish to hook today, but look at that. Oh, he's absolutely perfect. Not a mark on him. Stunning fish in this place. Beauty, look at that. Yeah, we're going to pop you straight back, mate. Thank you very much. I'm going to tell your mates. Cracker. Should we catch one more? Dragonfly trying to land on me. Or damson fly.